Okay, so gentlemen, what makes Skyrim so great?
That's a rather difficult question.
Lots of stuff to do.
Yeah, I still haven't done everything, and I put about 500 hours in this game.
Theoretically, there is infinite stuff to do.
It's true.
Theoretically, with the Radiant quests, but then the Radiant quests kind of
Or
do
just
kind of
kind
old
of go
after a
here,
while.
kill this, and then come back.
Go steal something from this city,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's all kind of the same thing.
I didn't know Skyrim was a game. I thought I was in the world.
Okay.
In the world.
That's what makes Skyrim great
Yeah.
for me. I didn't think of it as a game.
I was about to chastise you for a stupid comment, but I actually understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
with that. With me, I think I have 5 characters. Putting on at least one of them, putting at least 150 hours last time I checked. With probably at least, probably say, anywhere from, probably right around 50 on each of the other ones. I've put in a lot of hours in Skyrim.
That's your sneak two-handed.
My sneak two-handed is the 150.
Yeah.
But that's one of the other things. Is like most RPGs is like you get a class.
You kinda have to
have to
follow
play
a
the
path.
class. And this one you could just kind of be whatever you want. Like my guy, I specialize. My 2 best skills that I use on my main character in Skyrim is sneak and two-handed weapons. Makes no sense, but it works.
And that just kind of comes down to knowing what you want to do. Like, with my first character, which I have like 151 hours on, I really kind of I want to experiment with stuff. I tried to make it a spell sword and didn't kind of spec it right, so it just kind of became useless later on. Then I kind of made my sneak and archer, who was absolutely broken, and it's like I was like, all right. Now that I've thought about it and planned it, and you spec it right, then you can become just the godlike character that the game wants you to be.
Any thoughts?
Which I had a follow-up question to
Okay.
your main question, which I guess kind of answered. But how many hours would you say? And that kind of reflects on how much there is to do in the game. How many hours did you say? 150 for one character, which translates into a lot to do in the game.
That's
there's
almost
Stuff
a
to
week.
keep you busy.
That's almost a week of
Yeah.
gameplay on one character.
That's a week if I sat down and played. Like, there is, and there's like, if you think about it, there's lots of standalone quests, but then there's lots of huge quest lines. There's the main quest. There's
Civil War.
the two main the DLC side quests with Dawnguard and the other one
Dragonborn.
And then there's the Civil War. There's Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, Companions,
Major
College. The Bard's College, the Forsworn quest line,
What was the Forsworn quest?
and Markarth.
Yeah.
That whole thing. There's just there's 10 full on
Like
probably
faction.
at least 15 quest lines right there, and then there's lots of other quests that are just one-off things. There's a lot to do.
I think the only faction thing I haven't done at least a good chunk of, or at least really all that much of, is the Bard's College.
Yeah, it's alright. It's an alright quest line, but I love also just there's things with the game, especially with the weapons. I just love how it's almost randomized, what kind of what you get. You never, unless it's a specific quest item, you never know what you're gonna get. It's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, you'll pick up some of the same crappy ones over and over again, but you'll get a couple oh, that's really good. I actually picked up an Orcus Mace of Fiery Soul Trap.
Fiery Soul Trap is a great...
That's what I mean. I was like,
Fiery
what?
Soul Trap is a great enchantment to put on anything.
So I'm just it's just weird, and and I looked it up, and that's not like a specific weapon you could find. So I'm like, all right, it's
And
just
there's-
weird, all this stuff.
And there's certain things that are just very... there is a spell tome for telekinesis.
Yeah.
There's only one of it in the game. You can't buy it from any of the merchants. You have to find it in the world.
Yeah.
And this world is fucking huge.
Which also is another thing to do, at least for me. Like Keith said, there's a lot of weapons that are basic, that you don't need. A steel sword, no one's going to collect those. But
I've tried collecting.
the idea of kind of forming a collection of any special item that's just not plain.
Yes.
Not throwing things
Yeah,
out.
like I used That's what Bree's home was. You know, the house you get in Whiterun. That was my place where I put all of my Daedric weapons.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'll put all the weapons that I actually use a lot over here. But boom, I had them all up on display on all the plaques and whatnot. After I ran out of room, I started putting some in like drawers. But I mean,
I keep all my unique weapons, like the Sanguine Rose and the Dawnbreaker and stuff like that. I keep all of those.
yeah, like a lot of the, and then like we were talking about this earlier. I run with like 10 weapons on me at all times because like
Ooh, we got a badass over here, but I understand where you're coming from because I probably do the same fucking thing.
because I have my crossbow, I have a regular bow, I have a 2-handed weapon, I have 2 1-handed weapons, and then probably a bunch of other things. I have the Sanguine Rose. I'm pretty sure I have the Wabbajack on there just because why not? And then like a
all
bunch of
hail
other-
Lord Shograth. Cheese for everyone.
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
thoughts? What
Alright.
makes Skyrim great?
Alright, just to throw this out to you, this game was so great that I actually bought it 3 separate times.
Oh,
Once I bought it for the Xbox, and then I moved away, so I had a laptop, so I bought it for my computer, and I bought both the DLCs for that on the computer. But then the Skyrim Legendary Pack came out.
With everything.
With everything on the 360, I had to get that too. So I bought this game 3 times, and I can't say I regret it.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
I've probably logged over 500 hours. I'm not even sure anymore because...
Well, on your PC, you get access to all the fun mods and all that stuff.
Oh, yes. And before the Legendary update was up, I was sitting there with my character, all the skills maxed out. And I thought to myself, what are they going to do next? And then this Legendary update comes out where you can just freaking respec everything. And
Reset
just
everything to,
reset
what,
your
15?
reset your skill down, and fucking roll with it, man.
And then level up further because they patched the Augment Infinium when they did the Legendary update.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
The Augment Infinium is now patched. You cannot glitch it anymore, which is how I got my 68 Sneak Archer.
That's how
Oh, I did it legit.
Oh, I
because-
mean, I got mine legit up to like 51, and I was like, you know what? I'm not getting experience fast enough now, so I just glitched it
Yes,
up.
you can't do that anymore. I remember I told you about that. So.
I'm level 20, so
Yeah, it's
Oh.
yeah.
You
Right now, I have a character that's like level 94. And
Damn.
I'm telling you, even at that level, the legendary difficulty, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because,
Just playing on Master, even, you have to be fucking careful.
yes. And before the update and respecking, I had different sets of weapons. Like, I had a dungeon crawling set of weapons, like, of all this melee crap that I'd use.
Yeah.
And a mage light staff to help me see through the freaking
Candlelight is
dungeon.
a great spell to get, though.
Oh yeah.
Yes. But then I also had, like, dragon hunting shit, or stuff to go fucking
Yeah.
kill
So you had the
force
Dragon
wolves.
Bane, I'm sure.
That was like what I had. I had dragon hunting armor. I had my okay. I'm gonna be sneaking. I'm going in a dungeon. I'm gonna be sneaking a lot. Or like there's a huge fight. I'm planning. I'm going to a word wall. I'm going to find a dragon. Or I'm fighting this boss. I have my good armor that gives me like plus health, plus
Yeah.
one-handed, plus archery, plus everything I could fucking think of.
What I love most about this game, though, is that when you're playing, you actually like the non-NPCs.
Yeah.
They seem you can grow attached to them. You can understand how they're feeling.
And if
And
they
they-
die, they're gone.
Some of them. I feel like that's why one gripe with this game is that some NPCs are done really, really well, and then other ones are just so bland. Like the ones that you could go the entire game without ever talking to. Like I've actually sat down. I'm like, okay, there's this random guy walking around Solitude. I talked to him, and it was like, why? I don't know. It was just like, kind of, bland. It was just.
It seems like everyone has their place, though. Like each city basically has like a couple families, and you can understand their family rivalry if you actually go into the game and if you try to dig
Like
out some
the ones
information.
in Windhelm.
In Windhelm,
The two battling families. The two, like the one merchant family, and then
yeah,
there's the other ones.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember their names.
Yeah,
Then there's the
And then you have-
Battleborns and
and
The
the
Battleborns and
Greymanes.
Greymanes.
yeah, that's
And
a big one.
it's
The Forsworn
And
versus everybody.
even the individual personalities, when you join a guild or a group like a faction like that, you get all these individual personalities. I especially like the Thieves Guild personalities because they all the members there have a story behind them.
And that's a great thing. Like when you come into this game, you kind of have to take the lore at face value. You have to get immersed into it, otherwise you're not going to enjoy the game quite as much.
Yeah. One of the big things that like I really liked, especially with like all the lore and whatnot, is just like they put you in the lore and you start to like understand things, but then they make you interested and you look things up. Like I look things up that I'm almost even positive that aren't even like any games that is like out there and part of the official lore.
I've spent hours on the actual Elder Scrolls like wiki, the official Elder Scrolls wiki, looking up lore and the backstory. Like I've looked up the story of like Ysgramor and the 500 companions.
Yeah, it's like there's all kinds of stuff like that, and I just like how nothing is out of nothing in game wise is like out of place. Everything has some kind of huge historical thing in the game that like why it happens.
And they give nods to like if you've played the series from the beginning. I don't know anyone who actually has played from Arena on, but they give nods to all the hero characters.
Yeah.
From previous games, like they talk to the champion, which Cicero is the adoring fan from Elder Scrolls Arena.
And he kills you apparently.
Apparently he kills the champion. I forget what the name of the hero was in
Morrowind,
2
or
in Elder Scrolls 2.
Daggerfall.
But I know they make a reference to Morrowind.
They make a lot of especially when you get Dragonborn. They make a lot of references to the hero of Morrowind.
Yeah, so I also like how with a lot of characters in the game, there's there are with the topic of the NPCs. There are some really good NPCs. I really like. Too bad he died at one point. Arnbjorn from the Dark Brotherhood, the werewolf guy.
Yeah,
I really liked him. He was cool.
The leader of the companions is pretty cool.
He's
Kodlak.
And it's like I don't know how they do it, but they get a good like well-rounded feel that all like the voice acting. It seems well-rounded. I know there's some generic voices in there, but the important characters are very distinguishable.
Yes,
and improvements from Oblivion really. The combat is so much more smooth, and it feels real.
I heard the combat, but I have heard like a lot of like there are still some complaints with the combat. I saw recently like a mod where somebody made the combat much more in depth and realistic, where it's more about parrying and then getting like one or two, and then it's parrying, and so it's all very much that. But I mean the combat system's still fun. It's one of my favorite combat systems in any game. But but you can tank. That's about the only thing. It's easy to tank.
The whole role playing element. Actually, I mean, from what I played of Oblivion and into Skyrim, the whole role playing element, the whole skill and leveling up system, really I don't want to say they dumbed it down, but they definitely streamlined it. It's because in Oblivion you had like athleticism,
you had all your
your major attributes, you had your minor attributes. Blade, blunt, I forget what some of the other ones. Athleticism, magic,
mysticism. You had all these different magics like mysticism, alteration.
Well, they still have.
Yes,
that,
they still have that, but the mysticism,
There's
alteration, conjuration, destruction,
illusion probably.
Yes, they had illusion.
Restoration.
Yes, restoration.
And I think there was another one.
And then, they had your combat and non-combat skills.
Yes.
They basically took out the non-combat stuff for Skyrim and made the perk trees, which I actually liked more than the Oblivion system.
What's your opinion, Sam?
Why it's a good game?
Well, I mean, like on like all the like the combat and some of the
like
things
the changes they made from Oblivion.
Well, I don't. Have you?
I've never played
it.
Oblivion.
But I mean, like some of the things, like what, like.
The combat is okay. I mean, comparing it to other games, there are definitely better games. I mean, for what it is, how much they can fit into one game, it's definitely pleasing. It's at least for me. I I stick with archery a
'Cause
lot.
archery's broken.
Yeah, I'm not much of a sword or warhammer, axe, dagger, any type of that. I don't even carry a shield. I just stick with archery and running away and shooting again and running and shooting and you know,
So you're like a ranger, I guess, right? Yeah, I'm guessing you don't sneak all that much either.
I'm not very good at sneaking.
I don't know.
You trying to come over here and say
Nah.
something? But I mean, I've never been good at sneaking in games. Unless the sneaking is very, you know, necessary in the game. But sneaking, I haven't tried too much. The combat is fun. I think it's definitely fun. I don't have any complaints about it. I mean, it's not like it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, but I have no complaints about it.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it. I don't have very many, if any, complaints about this game. I wouldn't even call them complaints. I would say, you know,
Minor
it could be better.
grievances. Minor
I'd say the
grievances.
combat's
Yeah.
pretty well
thing-
balanced.
One thing that, like, you know, when it happens, it sucks. But looking back at it, it's really funny. Like, when you know you're about to die,
Yeah.
when you're the person you're fighting is going through the kill animation, you really can't do anything. It's like
There's that brief second of like denial, like no,
it's
this
like,
isn't
no,
happening.
and then they chop your head off, and then you're dead. And you're like, wow, fuck.
I'd say they balanced like the different forms of combat out really well. Like I feel the difference between all my characters. Like I have a two-handed character, I have a sword shield, I have a spell sword, I have a mage.
Oh yeah, like the most difficult thing for me is being like a mage. I can't. Using magic is just foreign to me. Really.
When you get there though, when you're like when you
start
your
doing
character right,
firestorms,
when you're throwing nukes left and right, and it's really not costing you any magicka whatsoever. You feel like it's awesome.
big thing that I think also contributes to this, dragons.
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 Close to work, bro.
I think every creature in there, mammoths, giants, trolls, everything is just interesting to face and kind of has its own identity.
Yeah, trolls, you know, with the health
Bears.
regen and all
But
that.
there's almost like an extra epicness to when dragons come in,
Yeah.
because they have their own music, and then you hear it, and you're just like, especially early on when you're like in the 20s, you're just like,
Sometimes you don't
fuck.
even hear it. You feel it rumbling as it's coming, as it swoops down.
And you're just like, whenever I hear the music now, it's like, alright, bitch, let's go. I'm only level 10, but fuck you. Alright, let's do this.
I hate like accidentally hitting like a guard or something when you do that, because
Yeah.
then they're all going after you too.
That's probably my complaint about the game. Setting the controller down. Oh, where did I sit it? I come back from getting my pizza rolls or whatever. I sit on the controller by accident or somehow I hit R2. I played on PlayStation 3 and I use my fire breath against a guard and suddenly the whole city's after me. And I just can't get away. I have to kill everyone and finally just take me to jail.
Just
I had to
for
go through that a few times just from stupid mistakes, but even that's kind of fun in the game, trying to defend yourself against all these people coming after you.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, like toward the end of the game, you get all kinds of like where fighting large amounts of people is easy. You can summon a dragon.
Yeah, the one thing that definitely keeps me playing the game is probably I want to get to that stage where nothing is a match to me. That's probably the thing that keeps me playing the game. Just to make it fun that I can wipe out anything. Because now, I mean, a lot of things are competition. Some things more than others, but I want to get to that stage where I can just, take care of business.
That happens, but it's more so of like, it's whenever you enter an area, whatever the level is you first enter an area, that's how the enemies are going to be. So when you're fighting, when you find stuff around Riverwood, like, you're going to kill them in one hit. But then if like, oh, I just discovered this area, you find a wolf, the wolf's going to be...
Yeah.
as difficult as they
There,
were.
there are some areas that are level locked though. Like, I mean, you're not like going up
Skuldolphin.
like Skuldolphin. That's pretty. You need to be a decent level to go even think about entering Skuldolphin. But by that point, you're level about 30 in the 20s, 30s anyway.
Oh yes. I was only about level 4 when I was going up to the throat of the world, and the first thing that ever killed me was that damn ice troll.
Well, Frost.
Oh, that thing!
Frost-
That thing was...
Frost trolls suck.
Yeah. First time I encountered that thing, that was just,
Honestly, the bane of my existence is
I-
those damn saber cats.
yeah, they come out of nowhere.
I really, really don't like Draugr
Death Overlords.
Death Lords. I only encounter a couple Death Overlords, and when I do, I'm fucked.
When you get up, trust me, when you get up there, that's all you'll see.
I'm like level 62 right now, so I mean I see them a lot, but
Yeah.
I mean like
I'm in Skuldolphin right now as a 68, and all I'm seeing is Death Lords and Death Overlords.
I know, yeah, but like you only encounter a couple Death Overlords, and I'm just like, fuck. Like I hate that, because like that's how it is. Like you don't encounter anything else. Everything's at least an Overlord.
Yeah.
Everything, and it's like it gets easier in some senses, but then like the stuff like that happens where you're encountering literally the toughest kind of this enemy all the time.
I almost enjoy the challenge of it though.
Yeah, it's fun, but I mean,
But if you want to feel like a god, invest in your sneak ability as an archer. Because
Yeah.
that's my 68.
I still have to invest in a lot of things.
But
Like, you know.
sneak and archery is probably the most broken class in that game besides being a mage.
yeah,
A pure mage anyway.
I haven't used magic all that much in the game. It's not something that, you know, I've you know, like every battle I'm like, oh, I gotta use my magic. I'm more of a weapons person, but at least with leveling up, what I was talking about is, you know, someday, once I get good enough, just come back to,
Bleak Falls Barrow.
I can't believe I forget it. The place with Breeze home.
Oh, Whiterun?
Whiterun. And just going out and finding any giant or mammoth that I can and just easily taking care of business. I mean, I feel like that would be so satisfactory.
Oh,
You know, just being easily able to do that, you know, being strong enough. That's the motivation of it, sort of.
There were times where, you know, with my sneak archer, where I was like, it was so easy to kill people, I was trying to set up trick shots. Like, I had a stupidly long range shot that was a one-shot kill right through his dome. I was just like, bam.
And probably one of the most addicting parts about this game is the fact that it's so easy to get quests.
Yes.
Whereas you'll walk along and then you'll just get a quest and you'll be like, well, damn, now I gotta do this.
Yeah.
And you go do the quest. And then halfway through that quest, you'll get another one and be like, well, fuck, now I got another quest I gotta do. And it's just like, and that's how it draws you in.
Yeah, I just have these quests backed up. I mean, I feel like
Your
for
miscellaneous
days.
quest log is going to be huge.
And I just joined the companion, so I'm like, you know what? All this stuff can wait.
I have like 100 miscellaneous quests that I have to get.
And honestly, one of the
bad.
things that keeps me coming back to the game is the world itself. It is, what are we, 2 years? 2 years, since launch, and it's still gorgeous.
Throat of the World looks cool with like the Aurora Borealis at nighttime.
When you go up to the top, wait till you get up to the top.
Yeah, I
look
got
around
up to the
world.
top, and it looked, you know, it was cool. I didn't want to leave, but
Yeah.
I had to.
No, one of the coolest effects I've ever done, I did the Meridia quest, and
Yeah.
I went up at night with the Aurora up, and it was beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's just the game and the music,
also just-
and it's
Just think about the scope of the game. Every time it loads everything.
Oh,
Except for like inside buildings and inside cities, but it loads everything.
yes,
Yeah.
and even your world map is a real-time rendition of the world at that time.
it's a
So like,
3D rendition.
If you kill a dragon,
yeah,
and like you know how the dragon glows
Yeah.
when you're taking its soul, if you go to your minimap, you can see the speck of glowing dragon.
yeah, I know. I've done that before. It's awesome.
What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought.
That's train of thought.
It derailed. It was horrible. There were no survivors.
But like, yeah, it's just like the scope, and then like going on top of mountains and just looking out over the lands, and also like looking out, and then like, especially when it's gotten to the point where like I go out chasing dragons, and I see a dragon flying in the distance. I'm like, you're mine.
I think one of the coolest things about the game is that, at least for me, I actually look forward to traveling to places I haven't been.
Yes.
In some games, it's like, oh, I have to go all the way up there, and I have to go over this mountain or whatever, but I look forward to it just because occasionally I'll encounter a dragon, and that would be a cool battle, or a frost troll, and I love kicking their asses just because I hate them so much.
There's so much of my map on all of my characters that I have
Yeah.
not explored.
Yeah, it's just fun to and explore everything, you know? Just like the weather, the, you know, scenery, the everything, the different dungeons that you can find.
I love the-
Weapons. Keith, he's
Yeah.
even in the map.
I'm in the map event. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
But I love the things you accidentally discover.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found the tower of
Pizza?
one of the It's right next to where the Dawn Guard, the cave we go to Dawn Guard is. There's like
Oh
a tower
yeah.
for the one person who hates magic and necromancers, the one god or whatever. the
Oh
one deity.
yeah.
the Aedra. I forget what her name is. But like
No, Stendar.
yes, Stendar's Beacon. That's
Yes.
where it is. I found that by accident. Trying to find the Dawn Guard place, I found that, and I'm like, and then I killed everybody in it. It was like it was amazing. I'm like, this place is cool. I like it.
I've spent like a good 2 hours like just exploring like the mountains in the south. I spent a good 2 hours jumping from mountain to mountain.
Yes.
There's a lot of great artwork in the game too if you pay attention. Like I know Alduin's Wall, most generic most generic example, but it is excellent artwork.
Yeah.
And some of the places like Blackreach. Blackreach is a beautiful place.
It's gorgeous in there, but it's too fucking big.
That's the thing. Like,
For a dungeon, it's too fucking big.
like there's like the scope. Like I said, boom. There's that. There's basically an area that is actually bigger than the overmap itself underneath Skyrim. That's cool as hell.
It's not as big. It's not bigger than the overmap. It's a good
It's
like
pretty
third.
It's
of
probably about as big as like one of the holds.
Oh yeah.
It's I forget what area it takes up, but it takes up between the 3 great towers in I think in the north.
Yeah.
Yes, in the
Yeah.
north.
So
It's between all of them, and you see how far apart they are on the map. That's Blackreach under there.
yeah.
And being able to summon Arvak from if you do the
yeah.
Dawn Guard quest line, that made Blackreach so much easier because I didn't have to fucking walk the entire way. 'Cause I did the Crimson Nurmur quest while I was down there just so I didn't have to go back and walk all over the place.
Yeah. All right. Well, last thing, even though this wasn't kind of like a review, give it like last thought, and maybe like a rating that isn't unrealistic
Out of 10?
out of 10. A rating that's not unrealistic.
I'm never getting rid of this game.
Yeah.
It's an addiction.
Yes.
I'm always going to come back to this addiction. I give it 9 Dragon Souls out of 10.
Yeah. It's a game I definitely see myself playing for a while. Just like Borderlands, it's a game I don't see myself getting rid of. I would probably give it 9.2 out of 10, most likely.
This game ruined my life.
It will end.
In the best way possible. This game ruined my life.
If you're in a relationship,
Don't.
end it now.
Yes, I have
Because it will end.
to give this game a 9.7.
It just makes me kind of wonder, if there's a next Elder Scrolls game or something, how
How they're gonna follow it
How
up.
they're gonna live up to their
how much
reputation.
better are they going to make it?
Well, no one thought I know Skyrim was one of the most anticipated games, but let's face it. Everyone that loved Oblivion's like, nah, it's not gonna beat Oblivion. It's not gonna beat
And now look
Oblivion.
at 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those games that, it's definitely the game of its time. They even talk about it in TV shows, and, every nerd plays Skyrim, and it's, there's
just
jokes
every nerd.
about it. I mean, there's even memes, the arrow to the knee thing for, like, a couple of days. But, I mean, it's a game of its time, I think, and I don't think that's an understatement.
It became the
I
RPG
mean, an overstatement.
for RPGs to follow.
Yeah, so I'd say about 8.5 out of 10. I mean, I generally like it, and the more I play it, the higher the rating is going to go, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. That,
I would give it 10 Dragon Souls out of 10, but
that's unrealistic.
it's
There are
it's not
problems.
perfect.
It's
There
not
are
perfect.
problems. There are glitches.
This is a game that makes you want to believe. It makes you want to believe that there are great things out there that are still to come.
It makes me want to listen to Winter Song.
Yes. So yeah. All right. I guess that's about all for this discussion. So
Good
bye.
night, Internet.